has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Famer.
Going down again, and it's Q. Red Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, this is actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz, coming at you today with a Jason Pinnock review. We are running through these reviews, but I have a lot more to do. Before then, I just added Ronald Blair, Tevin Coleman, Tyler Croft, and Dan Feeney to my docket. I wasn't going to do those guys, or at least I was questioning it, but with the way we're moving through this now, I think we're going to be able to get to them. I'll be pretty quick with this because I do want to get into the review. But make sure to follow me on JoeRB31 on Twitter. After this, we have Michael Carter, the second coming out. And then I just wrapped up, didn't finish the articles for Brandon Eccles, I would say Nathan Shepard, Jonathan Marshall, Yaboa is done. So we have a lot more film to come at you. But I should be getting all these guys done. I think I'm going to get every single guy done for the Jets, who was either obviously a draft pick. And then we have Yaboa done, Rashid Jr., and then all the Jets free agents, the bigger ones. I didn't, anywhere up to about Dan Feeney, Tevin Coleman, Tyler Croft, Ronald Blair. That's about the cutoff point. I didn't do Noah Dawkins. I believe he was a signing. But we have a lot more to come. Check out Michael Nania, Michael_Nania on Twitter. He just put up something on P. Ryan, something on Josh Adams, something on wide receiver blocking, and then Sabo just came out with another episode or two of the Underdog Jets podcast with Wayne Corbett, so make sure to follow that. Like I said, here on this channel, Michael Carter, second coming, next episode, which should probably drop. This is going to drop on probably Saturday. I think that show will probably drop Tuesday, Wednesday-ish, I would say. And then other than that, before I get into the review, we just have the live stream. You're hearing this on a Saturday. The live stream is on Monday, so 2 days from when you're hearing this. Myself and Kyle Smith, we have plenty to talk about from wrapping up a little bit of the draft class. We're going to talk about some, Jamison Crowder. Is he going to get cut? Is he going to get traded? We're talking about Morgan Moses. We're going to talk about Mekhi Becton and some of his injuries, the biggest camp battles. We're going to talk about a lot of that stuff. So make sure to be here on Monday night at 6 p.m., about 6 to 9. We'll be running the show. So tune in. I believe we're going to have a call in, maybe. Most likely we will. But excited to see you guys there. And then the other thing before that is the last episode, I dropped the thing about some people doing down votes and all that. And you guys responded really well. You guys said F that. And then you got over 100 likes on the last video. So love you guys. And I really appreciate you guys for seeing that and be like, nope, I'm dropping likes. So I really, 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 really appreciate that. So make sure you keep doing that. It's definitely awesome. Jason Pinnock, 21 years old, 6 foot, 201 pounds, 4'5", 40, 39.5 inch vertical, 32 plus inch arm, just a little bit over 32 inches. I watched 20 games against NC State, Syracuse, Louisville, Boston College, Notre Dame, and Clemson. I will give the full list of strengths and weaknesses at the end of the show. Again, a added bonus to being a full-time subscriber if you're watching on Vimeo and not just on YouTube, because we have the subscribers, I believe, who always just watch on Vimeo, unless they watch first half or the first third on YouTube and then go to Vimeo after, which wouldn't make a lot of sense. But let's get into it. He's an interesting guy for sure. He's a guy who I think with Richard Sherman's help, he could be pretty damn good because he's pretty similar physically to a Richard Sherman. Press rep, hands, we're going to watch on the bottom. His review is going to be some really, really good and then some really, really bad. He's kind of a volatile player like that. Obviously, he's in press man. I don't necessarily love that his hands are dropping initially like they are. But patient with his hips. He doesn't open the gate, or slightly angle his hips off too quick into it. So that's a positive. You'd like to see him get an extra shuffle in outside. If you see, as a receiver who just uses pretty much just uses like a hops. It's not really anything. It's not really that good of a release, to be completely honest. It's not really anything. But as you can see, Pinnock threw his offhand jam, which is just basically the way that the receiver is going. You're going to throw that hand. You see how he's leaning into it. I don't necessarily love that. Again, guys in the NFL, swat that down. You're going to be a little bit off balance. So you don't necessarily love that. So I want to see that fixed. But I do like that he's, again, relatively patient with his hips. Shoots that hand, which he obviously takes off of him as a receiver, wipes it away. Is relatively quick to replace it with the left hand. Receiver stems inside. He uses that almost as like a slingshot to get back inside on him. Stacks the route, stays completely on top of it. Shoots his right hand now, which is controlling the chest again, which is not allowing the receiver to get vertical on him. And then he just completely stacks the route and stays over top of it. So, good in terms of his patience with his hips for the most part. Hand strike, hand replacement, stacking the route. It's all pretty good right there. He's definitely a guy who likes to get his hands on in routes, and that's a positive, especially in press man, especially in cover 2 rerouting. So I could see him in those roles. I could see him cover 3. I don't necessarily always want him bailing, but we'll talk about that. Pinnock fill in the run game right here. This is really nothing overly special from any point of or any sense of the word. I want to show certain traits and the fact that he is willing to stick his head in the run game. Obviously sees the mesh point of the quarterback and the running back, sees the wide open backside C gap, and just fills it. Again, willing, relatively big hitter for a corner. In the run game. And again, nothing crazy to break down here, but do want to show reps of him in the run game just to show that willingness, to just show some of that power, that strength that you may hear reference to in terms of his strengths and weaknesses in terms of the run game. Pinnock versus fade. Okay, looking at the bottom. Again, another pretty good rep from Pinnock. Again, I initially receiver uses a hop step. I don't love the whole dropping your hands to your side thing. Obviously, and I've compared receiver versus corner battles as kind of like a boxing match initially off the line of scrimmage. And in a fight, you never want to drop your hands like that. So I want to see his hands more ready. And again, with the receiver angling outside, do you prefer him to get a shuffle in? Let me see if I can rewind it a little bit. A lateral shuffle in to completely choke off the route and stack it, instead of him opening his gate where this right foot's going to go back and trying to giving him the outside. Preferably, yes. Is every rep going to be perfect? No. But again, does stay over top of the route. Has some help inside. So if he undercuts him, he has a little bit of help from the safety. And again, as a receiver closes ground vertically, gets both hands on, looks back to the quarterback and shuts down the route. So there's good, there's bad. Obviously, this is overall a good rep for him, though, that he completely shuts down the fade over top of it. If the quarterback was to throw this ball at this point, you'd have to say it's a 50-50 ball at the best. And I'm going to argue that it's probably a 60-40 type ball, because Pinnock, when looking back to the quarterback, is actually pretty good at making plays on interceptions, things like that. Good body control, good vertical. As you can see, about a 30.5-inch vertical that he posted, or 39.5. Did I say that? Jam, bottom. Again, a lot of the reps you're going to see are either like cover 2, press man, or like cover 3 bail or him bailing. So that's a lot of what he did at Pitt. So bottom of the screen. Again, relatively similar to what we've been seeing. Patient with his hips as a receiver, eats up that ground, eats up that cushion. As the ball snaps, you like the patience. Again, maybe they see a little bit more active feet in terms of getting a shuffle in here. You don't want to necessarily see the hands drop. So that might be a little bit of a trend that we're seeing. Even though he's staying over the top of these guys in college, NFL level might be a little bit different. You don't get your hands on guys. You're opening your gate, as I like to say. They might shoot underneath of you with a drag, with a slant, whatever it may be. You know, these guys in the NFL are going to set you up outside to get inside. Some college guys will do it too, but this guy is obviously not really doing much of anything. This release is pretty generic. It's a quick, like, little hesitation crossover. Again, pretty patient with his hips. As he opens his hips, again, arm length, shoots the hand, lands into the right shoulder or left shoulder of the receiver, impedes his progress, gets over top, chokes off the route. He doesn't just start to run vertical. He chokes him off to the sideline. He does that quite frequently, where he really just gets over top of guys and will squeeze them to the sideline. And here the sideline is far away, but look how far he bows out that route because of Pinnock. Starts, at a yard or two, probably 2.5, 3 yards away from the bottom of the numbers, and look how far he takes it out because of that jam. He's almost completely to the sideline. So another good press man rep from him. Beat deep. Okay, this is his biggest weakness, in my opinion, and there's a few reasons for it. Let's see. He's on the top of the screen right here. I'm trying to see there. Look to be running like a cover 6, where you have the 2 4s and the 2. So Pinnock on the top has to match anything deep. Obviously, this guy stems more inside, so he's going to pass it off to the deep 4th safety, and he's going to match the number 2, who becomes the number 1 right here, who just stems him outside and just runs a 9 route. So one of my issues with Pinnock is when guys are running at him and he is in shuffle or whatever it may be, especially in shuffle or bail, he tends to gear down as they come into the contact window. Like he tries to get over top of the route, or he's just going to completely shut them off at the contact point, and he banks on it too much. And then guys, whether it be a pressure stem, a jerk stem, they're just widening, they're attacking a blind spot, whatever they're doing with their route, he tends not to get right over top of it. It's really hard to guess exactly where they're going to go because they're taking you in their stem where they want you to be to make their break more clean. So it's really hard to guess where they're going to be. And Pinnock tends to gear down. Again, he doesn't continue in full stride, where you want to stay over the top of the guy. You want to play that, that deep to short, get over top of him. If he breaks back, he breaks back, play that, but you don't want to get beat deep. So again, if you're, watching this, I'm trying to play them, full through so you guys can see it, and then I'll talk about it. But here you're going to, if you didn't notice it the first time, he tends to gear down. So right there, he doesn't have enough speed in that. Too slow while getting over the top of that. You can't completely gear down. I'm gonna expect him to meet that receiver at the contact point. Receiver widens him, breaks inside vertically, and he's beat. Again, receiver's gearing down for the ball, completely slowing down. The ball is right there, and the receiver just makes a absolutely dreadful play in terms of dropping that ball. So again, a play that wasn't shown up in terms of like stats and, we got beat deep on this one, for PFF or whatever it was, but this is a touchdown 99 times out of 100 in the NFL. As easy as it gets right there, and the receiver drops it. So, and it's like, I don't love that. I'm going to be honest. I didn't plan to talk about that, but when he gives him like the little, like almost there, like you're so close, dude, like again, and I actually like Pinnock, but you just got roasted deep. Let's not talk shit. That's one of my biggest things with corners, receivers, and stuff like that. When you get beat, please don't do that. That's a pet peeve of mine. But here's what it is. He's a little bit of a trash talker, which I like for the most part, but know when to talk trash. Was not the moment. Top of the screen here, press rep again. Okay, so obviously there's a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Again, pretty patient with his feet. Again, you don't love the fact that, again, feet widen. He doesn't initially like jump split, but he does eventually after he takes like a kick step, jump split. So it's not just initial jump split, but he does jump split. Which again, now your base is wide. Try to break laterally either to your left or to your right after widening your feet past your shoulder width or right around there. Try to almost get into a split and then move laterally. Again, obviously, not as dramatic as an actual split, but pretty close. You're not going to be able to react as quickly. And weight is back. So now you're not going to, with any punch, really generate a lot of force. Hands are dropped. So there's a couple of issues there. Again, watching it translatably to the next level, you want to see that fix up a little bit, but again, is able to hop outside, arm length. His hand, his strike timing, his accuracy is definitely good. His hands are definitely a plus trait of his. You see the hand lands, receiver wipes it, replace. Always want to maintain that contact. That little match within a match right there with your hands is really important. If he swipes that and you don't maintain the hand or that contact, maybe he gets past you vertically. So I really like the strike timing, accuracy of it, and the quick ability to replace it. And he does have a tendency to, when he shoots, he knows when a guy's going to swipe it and he pulls it down before, or at least put a lot less pressure on that hand before the receiver swipes it. So he's really good at alternating punches and kind of feeling what the receiver is going to do. So punch, replace, get over top, get over top, get over top. Receiver breaks like the hitch, obviously pushes off of Pinnock, and seems like their feet get tangled up a little bit. Pinnock slips. Okay, not the biggest deal in the world. Now, the only thing here is I would like to see him get his eyes on this is a tiny bit nitpicky, but it is what it is. When you're not within that range to be hands on the receiver, you want to get your eyes back to the receiver, because you're going to see one of the issues that could have arisen here is that instead of playing that near shoulder, instead of playing that upfield shoulder of the receiver, in case he does break vertically, his eyes are on the quarterback, as you can see. Scramble drill, receiver gets past him. Good NFL receiver in this, good cornerback connection. More likely than not, or at least let's say a 50% chance he completes that ball. So do you want to play it better? Yes, you do. So I just want to see his eyes snap back to the receiver after that point that he slips. Again, nitpicky, admittedly, but it's what I want to see. Press rep. Okay, top of the screen. Again, we're going to see a lot of press. Again, that's really, really good on this play again. And some of his film is really, really good, and we're getting into a lot of the good initially. His base may be literally a hair bit narrow. Not really. I should almost retract that. I don't edit though, but maybe literally like a half an inch. This guy's is way too narrow. But over the knee, over the shoulders, over the knees, all good. Again, opens the gate a little bit, but it's really not a lot. He more just like angles off to the sideline, and again, he can cheat a little bit because of the sideline, and he knows that's his friend. So we're going to see hands again. Strike timing. The right goes to land. Receiver chops down on it. What does Pinnock do? Again, quickly replace the hand with the left. It's those little things. Shoot, swipe it down, land. Now he's stacking that route. Now he's staying over the top. Now he's slowing down the receiver's momentum. Doesn't want to reach for that contact. Now what does he do again? Strike again. Just this little hand movement. 1, 2, 3. Just keep punching him. Just keep maintaining that contact. Stays over top of the route. Hands on. Looks back to the quarterback. Completely shuts down that route. Watch it again. This is all about the hands. Again, the feet hips could be fixed a little bit. And that's even being a little bit nitpicky on this one because he does just kind of angle off. He opens to get a tiny, tiny bit, but again, he's kind of using the sideline as his friend. So he could cheat a little bit inside, but he's inside leverage right here because he's so close to the sideline. So if anything, he wants him to go outside and he's just going to choke that right off to the sideline, which is exactly what he does. So I like the understanding of leverage right here. One hand, two hand, three hand. Stay over top of it. Okay. Next. Great press. Okay. Watching a lot of good press really early into this. So the people who are only the YouTube watchers are not going to get some of the stuff we're going to see later, but you can always see the plays I put on Twitter, usually with that arrow. Watch it again. We'll talk about it. Okay. Kick step with the right foot. A lot of coaches, because like your feet, when somebody's moving at you, like naturally want to move. So a lot of coaches will teach that what some will mistake as a false step, which really just a kick step where you're really just widening with that foot to maintain yourself being over your knees, over your toes, instead of jump splitting, you're waiting to go back onto your heels. So a lot of coaches teach that kick step. So a little kick step right there. Receiver, hop step release, hop step outside. Pinnock, pretty patient with his hips, gets outside. Now, the only thing I'm going to say with this is you don't want to see that whole movement right here. Again, you prefer to get a shuffle over the top, and if not like necessarily a complete lateral shuffle, at least slightly angling off to the sideline. But you don't want to see this whole big movement of jumping and crossing your feet. At this point, you're not able to really react. One, if he was to like shock release you, which you're basically just going to maintain, like you're just going to create quick contact and break inside, bump cut at the top of the stem, whatever it may be. If he's to initiate contact right here, your feet are crossing, you're pretty screwed. Or let's say if he were to like diamond release, like 1, 2, 3, or actually it'd be like a quick like 1, 2, a quick like 1, 2, and then squirt underneath of it. His feet are crossing. He's not going to be able to play that slant underneath. So I just talking about like NFL cornerback play, you don't want to necessarily see the big jump with the feet crossing and things like that there. Overall, still a really good job by him at this point, because now the receiver's bowing his route out. He's staying over the top. He starts where about 2 yards from the bottom of the numbers. Again, bows the route out, hop step release. What does Pinnock see? Head down, hands are not ready. His right hand's going to shoot directly into that chest. Right hand shoot into the chest. Left hand get probably contact on the back of the shoulder area. Now, as he shoots into the chest, obviously he's absorbing contact from the receiver, so he's going to almost like hop into an anchor, as offensive linemen do, and create pressure off that instep. So you're going to see him land the right hand, tight elbow. Again, you want tight elbow angles. If your elbow is all flappy and your elbow is wide, you're not going to drain as much force if it's nice and tight. Good leverage underneath of the pads. And then you're going to see him widen that foot. Force comes up, rolls up through him, instep of the right foot, and completely lifts him up. He literally lifts him off of his feet. Take the open chest, tight elbow, instep of the right, explode up through that instep, explode up through that instep, completely push him out of bounds. Get hands on again, and he literally throws him out of bounds. He's completely done. Tell me that's not where you want your receiver to end after a press rep with the ball going, wherever it's going to land, or somewhere over here if you're watching the video. that's what you want. He's a bulldog in terms of press. Beat for touchdown. Okay. So now we're going to get into some of the areas he needs to improve. Bottom of the screen, as you can see again, another press man. This one's really not that bad. I remember recording this one. It's, again, initially hands dropping, angling off, like his gate opening right away. Again, preferably you see a shuffle. You don't want to see him just angle off and just give him the outside right there. Is it the worst thing in the world? No, but I'm just saying the most preferable situation, that's not it. But still, gets over the top, or at least matches his hip, his near hip, gets hands on. To be honest, again, he's beat for a touchdown. But this is one of those plays where it's just more of like, it is what it is. It's a good play between the quarterback, good timing from him and the receiver. And I can't really tell exactly if he pushes off. It looks like he might push off a little bit, but it's a perfect back shoulder ball. Again, he's kind of hip to hip, and he's just going to throw it to the near front pylon. Good timing on the late hands, late turnaround to the ball. So he got beat there. It's really not that bad of a rep. If you're telling me he's going to end up like this on every fade ball, I'm pretty much going to take it. So it's not that bad of a rep for him. It was beat for a touchdown, so I didn't want to put it on there, but I'm not going to kill him for that. Bail has to be careful. Okay, bottom of the screen. You're going to see him bail. The only thing, again, with when you're bailing like this, and I know Marcus Coleman feels this way too. Again, former NFL defensive back. When you're bailing, when you're shuffling, you cannot let the guy get into your blind spot. You have to widen, because like the thing that makes this like a advantageous position to be in terms of like bailing, like the positive thing of the shuffle is you could play the quarterback while staying over top of the receiver and playing the receiver like more in your peripheral, or maybe you see the quarterback in your peripheral, like however you're coached it. But you don't want to let him get outside of you. You don't want to let that work into that blind spot, because like, let's say right here, if he was to break on a comeback right here, is he going to know? Absolutely no chance in hell he's going to know that. So I don't like this bail and the fact that he just lets this guy right into his blind spot. So I do want to see him widen that bail. Now the quarterback throws it, and again, the receiver almost gets past him. He does have to gear down. Now, if this ball again were to be a really good ball, and the quarterback were to trust his guy to get to his spot, it should, like if this was Zach Wilson, I was watching this, I want this to be short and outside. Let the receiver work to the open spot. So it's not a good ball from the quarterback, just reading the situation in terms of leverage. This has to be short and outside. He puts it vertical, which is risky in its own right. But if you're going to put it vertical, it has to be to the sideline, because that's where he has some room. He puts it too far inside. The one thing I will say about Pinnock, you might be able to notice on this play a little bit. Again, and this is why I don't really love, especially pro day numbers, being completely fair to what I see. Again, some people on the other reviews were like, "Oh, you sound like you hate this guy," or whoever it may be. People are coming here for complete honesty. I'm not going to bullshit anybody. There might be a pick in a second round who I hate in the future. I'm not just going to be like, "Oh, I love this pick." I'm not going to show any bad plays because it's a Joe Douglas pick. Like, people come here for the honesty. I believe. So the 4.45 thing, the pro day, I don't see that. To be completely honest, I don't see that at all. I see him as more of a 4.6 type guy, low 4.6, mid 4.6. He is a slower cornerback, at least on the field. Underwear Olympics, all that stuff. Maybe he got faster. I don't know. But you're going to see it on some reps where he does not have great deep speed. So that's my worry about him on an island with a guy. Now in cover 2 with the safety over the top, great. Cover 3 where he's cheating to stay over the top, and he's going to leverage himself over the top of the route and kind of already be cheating deep with his feet. Great. Press man in terms of no help at all could be a little bit risky with him. But again, Richard Sherman's not the fastest guy either. So again, there are cornerbacks who are successful, but the 4.45 thing, I did not see that at all on film. So you might be able to see that a little bit here if you pay attention to it. And it comes with watching film, like noticing how fast some guys are versus other ones. Not the fastest guy in the world. Now, let's see him playing the ball. Tracks the ball. Eyes seem to go from high to low. Sees it, dives. I don't think he makes the pass deflection, but he plays the ball. So good job playing the ball vertically, at least right there. But have to be careful with that shuffle. Stab, replace, jump split. Okay. Bottom of the screen right here. It's a super quick rep, but it shows some of the same stuff we've been showing. Again, initially. Do you like that? No. That's not the most advantageous position. Hands really wide, wider than the knees, lower than the knees, and for your feet to be split. Now your weight is onto your heels. Don't love it. What I do love is the punch, especially when you're beat. You don't want to shoot two hands because you're already off balance. Now, if you shoot two hands, your hips are going to completely lock. So you definitely, at this point where he is, you do not want to shoot two hands. You want to shoot one hand. He shoots the inside hand, lands, and it almost propels himself inside. Replace. I love his hands in press. That is for sure. Timing, land, replace. Perfect. Stay over top of the route. The ball is out to a different spot, but it's a quick rep. Bad to start, good to finish. Okay. Pinnock press rep. Got a lot of it. Bottom of the screen. This is what he's asked to do a lot. So that's why we're looking at it. Pretty similar to what we've been seeing. A little bit more aggressive with the one hand punch right here. Some of the other reps he was a little bit off. Opened the gate, got kind of more secondary punches in than initial aggressive punch. Here, initially punch. As long as you strike and you get back to balance, it's fine. You just don't want to be reaching. I'm not on balance. And with this punch, he's unbalanced. So even if that hand was to get swiped, weight is over his toes. He's pretty balanced. So strike, get back to balance. I'm cool with it. Seems to land it somewhere into the armpit area. Obviously jolts the receiver. The receiver's off balance. Runs, stays over top of the route, gets his left hand on, completely runs that route, the route out of.